going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. Hello. If you've been here before, what's up? Welcome back. My name is Bria K, and as y'all can already see by the title, we are back on with the Pretty Single series, you guys. I had to take a little break last week. I was off, I was launching the nonprofit organization Coffee in Christ. Hey, if y'all want to know a little bit more about that, go watch my last video. I actually got the chance to live stream the event, but we're back on this week, guys, and as y'all can see, we're diving in deep today. Okay, today I'm just gonna get straight to it. We're gonna be discussing how somebody I thought I was gonna married somebody else shortly after we split, how that kind of played out, impacts, all that stuff, right? And I feel like when people talk about like breakup type things, they get ice cream. So I went ahead and got me my dairy-free chocolate ice cream from, Cold Stone. And I have brownies and cookie dough mixed in that thing. Yes, Lord. All right, so I'm gonna be taking you way back to the beginning. I honestly call this my villain origin story, all right? I feel like this was that situation or relationship that kind of changed me forever. This relationship did cause me to walk away from God after a while because the person was pursuing or was a youth minister or youth pastor, or was in the church together, all that. So I feel like this is my villain origin story, but of course, I'll let y'all decide, all right? So it all started back in college, okay? And at the time, I'm just this little freshman, fresh out of a pretty strict household where partying and boys wasn't really entertained unless I snuck, which I did. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But yeah, so I got to college. What did I do? I was wilding. Literally day one of me getting to college, I was at somebody's party or somebody's kickback every night. I did not get tired. Until I got tired. So I had like this come to Jesus moment. So I said, you know what, guys, you didn't send me to school to wild like this. Like I said, I'm done with the partying. I'm done with the kickbacks. I'm done with the little boys. We finna get serious. I'm about to get serious with my schoolwork from this day forward. Within 24 hours, y'all know who I met. Anywho, the next day comes after I done made this vow. So I had this friend, you know, we would always just get together and talk about God and school and life and stuff like this. And that next day he was like, what's up, I'm finna come through. I'm like, bet, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he coming over. We wasn't dating or talking, it wasn't nothing like that, just a genuine friend. And so he gets to the door, but when I open this door, it's my friend, but it's also this 6-foot chocolate muscle hunk of a man. And I'm like, who is your man? Like, you ain't tell me this was coming with you. But you know, in college, that's just how it is. You meet people all the time. So I'm like, y'all can come on in. I think I had some friends over anyway. So I'm like, all right, Rico Suave, I see you. Still keeping my vow to God in mind. I'm just like, he cute, but whatever. So we all get to talking in my dorm. A few hours go by. Some kind of way we get on the subject about God and celibacy and growing our relationship with Christ. Me and Rico Suave are talking. So I'm gonna call Rico Suave. That's the guy who I almost married, okay? So me and Rico Suave talking like across the room about accountability and pursuing celibacy and you know, just all this stuff. And he was like, you know what, I just kind of started a similar journey. Let's be accountability partners. Pause. Do not ever try to be accountability partners with somebody you find extremely attractive, nor somebody of the opposite sex. That is not how it works, all right? But again, I was young-minded, didn't know. All right, press play. So I was like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I'm really trying to get serious with God and da-da-da-da.
He's like, bet, take down my number.
I'm like, all right. So I get his number. Everybody ends up leaving my dorm at like 11 p.m. or so. And I guess a little thirstiness had popped out of me because I was like, okay, he's attractive, but I'm over that. He got a relationship with God. He's pursuing Christ. He wants to help me pursue Christ. This might be a little something. You know. And so I sent him a text. I'm like, hey, it's me. And he's like, all right, bet. You know, like, hit me up and we can link again soon. Say less. So still kind of keeping my promise with God. I sit down after they leave my dorm at like 11 p.m. and I do my homework. I had an assignment, some kind of little science paper or something. I finished that up at like 12:20 something. At this point, I'm just a little bit thirsty. I can't lie. So I text him at like 12:30. I'm like, I'm actually done with my homework now. I know you said you wanted to link, so what's up? He was like, yeah, I'm up. Come through. Say less. Say less. I'm there. So I rush over there. It's like 12:30. I don't even know what I was expecting. I think I was intrigued by his conversation. So I get there at like 12:30 at night. I know y'all like, girl, what is you doing, baby? I know. I get over there at like 12:30 at night. And when I say we honestly talked until like 4:30 in the morning, that's what we did. It wasn't no funny business, no hoorah, no none of that, no cha-cha-cha. Like, we basically continued the conversation that it started in my dorm room and just kind of got to know each other and each other's lives and backgrounds until 4:30 in the morning came. The only reason we stopped talking is because he was an athlete and he had to get up to go to like film or practice or something like that. But after this encounter, I'm locked in. I'm like, okay. So he wasn't trying to hoorah. We was talking and getting to know each other on a soul level and da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. So I'm a little interested. I know what I said yesterday, but today I'm a little interested, all right? I start asking around about him. Like, I know one of his teammates. I'm like, hey, what's to dude? You know, I'm just asking. I'm getting like, you know, kind of good answers. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get too excited, but who knows? Maybe God just delivered my husband to my front door. So a few days go by, and my friend who introduced us, he was like, yeah, Rico Suave said, when can he see you again? I'm like, well, he definitely has my number, and we kind of been texting, so that's kind of weird. He ain't say nothing. Anyways, so my friend was like, well, Rico Suave's out front now if you want to go see him, like he really wants to see you. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute, like a Lifetime movie or something, you know? So I go out there, and he in his car, and we talking, and he's like, I missed you, da-da-da. Long story short, we go on our first date. I think we go to like Buffalo Wild Wings or some little college town restaurant, you know? And from that date, we are inseparable. Inseparable. Okay, and I mean that with every syllable I just stated. Like, we just became like conjoined twins, but we was not twins. So from that point on, our friendship really took off. Our relationship really took off. We attended church together regularly, Bible study, had like, you know, private Bible study discussions, our goals with God. He was really trying to help me grow in Christ, vice versa, you know, just working on life stuff together. And we got to the point where we didn't want to be outside the will of God. So we were, you know, discussing how to do things right and in God's eyes. And of course, with every relationship comes problems. So we eventually started getting couples counseling. If you don't know this, I'm gonna let you in on a little Christian secret, all right? When you're not serious about somebody and you're a Christian, you don't take them to couples counseling. Couples counseling is like the step you take before you're like engaged, married, or both. That means you're serious about this person and you're trying to get it right before God so y'all can get married. So we started couples counseling. We went to his hometown church and got prayed over to be married as a couple and stuff. And also we were doing vacations before they took over Instagram. Like, before vacations were as popular as they are now, that was us. Like, we missed so much school. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But we missed so much school because we was always traveling, like cross country, road trips, vacations, meeting the family. Like, we were everywhere. Road trips, flights. We was always out of town. And people knew that. Like, if you see him, you see me. You see me, you see him. If you don't, we either in class or something to that degree, right? So he gets to meet the family. He met my parents. I met his family that's in my hometown. I met his parents, his grandparents, his extended family, his half family. Like, we locked in, discussing the next steps. Like, what does marriage look like? How are we gonna glorify God with our relationship? Just all these things. So we locked in, okay? I took y'all through the little bliss of the first year of the relationship. We went from spending every day and night together, sleeping in the same bed every night, going to church like just inseparable, to, with him being an athlete, he went across country to do training in the summer. Summer gets started. Nothing's really changed. We're trying to figure out how to do long distance at this point. I would say about like mid to the end of the summer, communication had dropped drastically. Didn't really know what was happening there. We never officially broke up. It's my understanding, and what from he initially stated, once we got back to school on the same campus during the school year, we was gonna be back on popping, you know. So the next school year resumes, and I'm thinking, all right, we back like 1, 2, 3, yeah, you know. But I'm like, okay, we've been on campus for a couple of weeks and he's not all up under my skin. Like, what's up? What's to that? So eventually we talk and he's like, yeah, I'm not trying to be like we were last school year or something. He wouldn't give me a clear explanation. He never said he was dating somebody else. He was just like, yeah, you know, football, school. I'm like, okay. The thing about it is, when you're a child of God, he's not gonna let other people play in your face nor behind your back without showing you. So I was getting kind of frustrated because I'm like, I'm not getting a clear answer from him. He gets mad when I don't pay him attention or don't communicate or don't see him, but he's also not prioritizing me. What am I to do with this? Like God always does, he put the proof right in my face. The proof was in the pudding, okay? So like I said, the school year is just kind of ramping back up, and the campus was kind of big. So one morning, I'm fresh outside in the front of our dorm. It's like a circle driveway in front of my dorm where shuttles would come to take you to class. So I'm waiting for my shuttle to come to get to class. I'm the only person out here. I'm the only person out here. Well, that's what it felt like. I'm the only person out here. And at the same exact time I'm outside waiting for my shuttle, who rides up on a little moped scooter? Him, Rico Suave. He rides up to my dorm and I'm confused. I'm like, you ain't telling me you was coming over here. Before I can even like establish a sentence, this girl who is his now wife comes up behind me, hops on the back of his moped scooter, and they drive off into the dawn. And like, he's like avoiding eye contact with me and just like being weird. I'm like, that's my spot on that scooter. What, like, I was just on that scooter a few months ago. What was that? What was that? So I think I hit him up. I'm like, if you dating somebody else, that's literally all you had to say. Like, and I don't know what I would have done, but at least give me the information so I could figure out what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So we end up talking, and he's like, it's not what it looks like. He's like, the girl you saw on my scooter, that's not even about anybody I dated over the summer. Like, I just met her. I'm just getting to know her. And it wasn't, 2 and 2 wasn't adding up. 2 and 2 wasn't equaling 4. But he made it sound so good, and of course my feelings and heart are still intact. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm like, so what does that mean for us? He was like, you know, just kind of let it flow. Like, it don't mean nothing. Like, you don't have to leave me alone, and I'm not gonna leave you alone. Like, da-da-da, we still good. I'm gonna say something. How, you know? And at this point, I'm a very loyal lover, so I wasn't interested in getting to know other people, dating other people. Like, my heart was still intertwined. So, and like I said, we still met up regularly and talked and all that stuff. So I didn't have a clue to move on until I knew to move on, if that makes sense. So certain instances like that kept happening. Like, I would just see them around campus. The girl lived in the dorms, like right across from mine. It was maybe separated by like a elevator or a little hallway, but so I could always see when they were coming in and out. And I'm talking about it cool, calm, and collected now, just because I've healed. But I was super depressed during this time because it was just a lot for somebody as young and as in love as I was to endure without proper guidance, counseling, what to do. Like, I was just really out here watching him fall in love with his now wife without properly cutting me off, while breadcrumbing me, giving me hope that like we still might have something, and just seeing him do everything we were just doing a couple months ago for over a year. So I was just like I said, I was mad depressed. Like, it was really taking a toll on me. I wouldn't leave my dorm room. I would only come out of my dorm room, go to class, and that was barely like hanging on by a string. I was not eating. I lost all contact with like most people on campus. Like, it was just a really dark place. And so the last straw was, I think I was coming home from like some kind of group or rehearsal or something, like 8 p.m. or something, and I saw him carrying her groceries to her dorm as I was going in mine, like I'm going this way and they going that way. And I saw him carrying her groceries and they all flirty and laughing. He kind of looks my way and then hurry ups and looks away. And that just made my insides collapse. I don't know, it was the last straw for me. So I get in my dorm and I just kind of break down. I'm like, this, like last, like a couple months ago, we was on the road to get married. We was in couples counseling with the church and we got prayed over and I met everybody and da-da-da. We traveling across the country. I don't understand. Make it make sense. So I couldn't sleep, y'all know. And I called my mom at like 1 in the morning, 1 or 1:30 in the morning. That's how y'all know it's real. Like, call her. I don't even think I was crying. I don't think I had any tears left. I just called her. I said, Mom, I cannot stay here. That's all I said. And she was on it. She knew, like, I didn't have to explain. I probably should have explained. I probably scared her, but I called her. I was like, Mom, I cannot stay here. And y'all know, like, I'm mama's baby. So she like, what's going on with my baby? And I think she said that night she got on it because she knew a little bit of what was happening, but I don't think she knew the extent or how depressed I was until I called her at 1 in the morning and scared her. Like, she was scared. She like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're supposed to be asleep. You calling me, sounding like, the way I was feeling in that moment, I feel like I was like a step above death. Like I had no more life in me. I can't explain how low I felt, but I hope I can put it into words for you. Like, I just had no life left in me. I had lost so much weight. I wasn't leaving my dorm because I was scared to see them because it hurt so bad to see them. Barely keeping up with schoolwork, going to class, like barely, like it was just bad. So I was like, I got to get out of here because I don't know what's next. Like, I feel like if I just sit here, I'm going to die. It may sound dramatic, but I felt like that low. She got on it that night. Luckily, my grades were up enough to where I had an easy transfer to a different school. And winter break was coming up. So I finished out that semester. And between winter break, I transferred from my first school to the school I ended up graduating college from. And this is how y'all know I was in a different state of mind. I started out in forensic science because I wanted to work in a lab, like, all that stuff. And the school I transferred to did not even have forensic science as a major. I had to choose some random major that I really did nothing with just because I had to get out of that school because for my sanity, for my mental health. And to this day, it kind of makes me upset that I let him have that much power over me, but it was necessary at the time from my perspective. All right. So I transferred schools, changed my phone number that I've had for the past 10 years. Like, it's a wrap. I'm like, this ninja got me messed up. I'm out. I'm like, I've seen what I needed to see. It's absolutely a no for me. So transfer schools. I'm hours away. Change my phone number. I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, he never said it, but it's a wrap. You would think that's the end of it, right? No, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, you guys. So I transferred schools. Lo and behold, guess who gets in contact with me? Not even a couple months of me transferring. So he's blocked. At this point, his phone number is blocked. I have a new number. He don't even know I'm at a different school. Like, I just have gone off the grid in his eyes. So, of course, I still had a couple of friends at my old school. And they had my new number and whatever. So he would use my friend's phone from my old school to call me from their phone. So I would think it was my friends calling and I'll answer. And he would be trying to get at me. And I'll be like, what is this weirdo? But of course, I'm still kind of like partially in love. And I'm like, wow, like he's really like tracking down my friends to get a hold of me. Like maybe him and old girl ain't work out. So he would call me frequently from my friends' phones. Not only that, he was blocked on social media. So he would get on like his teammates and friends' Instagram accounts and stuff and message me or like comment on my page as if like from their page, but he would leave comments like nicknames he used to call me or stuff like inside jokes to where I knew it was him. So I'm like getting hope back a little bit. I'm like, okay, if he going through leaps and bounds to contact me after I've transferred schools and moved hours away and changed my phone number, maybe he's regretting his decision. Maybe she was a rebound girl. Maybe. And as like the school years go on, we start reconnecting. As I said, he has family in my hometown. So like when I would be in my hometown, we would link up for weekends. Like communication was back on. We would be talking regularly, keeping up. So in my head, I'm like, maybe she was just a fling. Maybe that's out of his system. He ain't brought her up. He's still seeing me and talking to me regularly. He's back. He's back. We're back. Period. This continues on for like a year and a half. We're back communicating regularly. Like I said, we see each other from time to time. No mention of the girl. I didn't bring it up. I'm like, he ain't brought her up. He's still seeing me. He's still prioritizing communication with me. Even though I tried to leave the situation, maybe there's hope, right? But this is the final straw. I don't know what else to call this. But this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And who was the camel in this case? It was me. Okay, so this portion of the story really broke me for years because I was trying to make it make sense. So we would lose contact in and out because he in another state doing school. I am too. So when I say frequently, we talk at least once a month, see each other when we could, So I believe it was my junior year in college and his senior year. And like I said, we were on the track to being married. So we had made a lot of promises and life plans together about graduation, birthdays, and how that would go. Not missing it for each other. So this particular year, my birthday's in May. And this is the year he graduates from college. So my birthday is in May. My birthday comes. I get a phone call at like the crack of dawn from an unknown number. Surprise, surprise. I'm like, who is this? And he's like, I bet you thought I forgot, huh? You ain't think I remember. Little rat. I'm sorry, he ain't a rat. But yeah. So he like, I bet you thought I wouldn't remember, huh? Yes, I remembered. I made a promise and He's like, I want to make your birthday so special and just like basically pleading to spend my birthday weekend with me. Not just the day, not just a day, but a whole 3-day weekend. I said, all right, bet. You want to do that for me? That's cool. I'm a broke college student. I'll take it. He arranges for the weekend after my birthday, which is like a week before his college graduation. He arranges for my birthday weekend. We spend Friday through Sunday together, a little 3-day weekend. Food, fun, just good time, like just good old times. We genuinely enjoying each other's company. It's a little romantic, like it's a vibe. It's really a vibe. And the whole time that we're hanging out during my birthday weekend, he's asking questions like, I'm sorry for the way things turned out back then. What if I said I was sorry? He kept asking these things. What would you say if I wanted a second chance? What would you say if I wanted to give the relationship another try? And what would you say if I said I was single? He kept like alluding to this the whole time. He never brought up that girl, never said he was in a relationship, and he spent 3 days with me. So I'm just like, in my head, he was single because when we were together, he would have never been able to go away for 3 days without me knowing who, what, when, where, why, and how. And we didn't spend that much time away from each other. So in my head, he was looking real single, and he kept asking me like, you want to get back together? What would you say if I wanted to get back together? And whole weekend just blissful. I'm like, yes, Lord, you have brought my husband back unto me. I knew it was just a fling and I'm on cloud 9. He on cloud 9. We enjoying each other's company. He has to go back to school to get ready to graduate. I got to go back to school to finish up finals and stuff. So we part ways. Within 7 days, you guys, my world got turned upside down. So put that previous weekend at the forefront of your mind. We're having just relationship bliss. Do you remember? Just living it up. And he want to say, what happens if you want to get back together? Would you give me a second chance? I'm single. What would you say? All this, right? He's graduating 7 days after we spent my birthday together. And I couldn't be there because I'm at my friend's graduation at my new school. But midway through graduations, I'm at the graduations at my new school. He had his own graduation. I get a call from somebody at my old school, and they was like, hey, you know Rico Suave just proposed to that girl? What? What? Huh? I don't even remember hanging up that phone. I literally just saw black. Like, it just, everything went black. Like, y'all know in movies when people get shocking news and they show like that little tunnel vision and like the world is shaking and like their ears are ringing? That's how I felt. Like, I feel like I was in another universe. I don't know what was happening, but I don't know where I was at. I don't even know how I got home. I do know he activated the crazy in me on another level, okay? So after, I guess I kind of processed and I got on Facebook and I saw they congratulatory pictures and he on his knee proposing to her. In my head, all I could think about is 7 days ago. I was just like, wait. And I'm looking at our messages. I'm like, wait. Did he mention, did I miss it? You know, I'm just reviewing everything. I'm like, maybe I missed the memo. No, I didn't. The ninja was a ninja. The ninja was playing in my face. So first thing I could do when my ears stopped ringing was, Barbara, this is Shirley. Okay, I had a Barbara, this is Shirley moment. I found the girl on Facebook like probably an hour after he proposed. It's fresh. She just got done celebrating. I'm in her inbox. This is not a flex. I don't recommend going about stuff this way. I should have dealt with him or not her. But hops in her inbox. I say, congratulations, but I just feel like you should know who you really with, because last weekend he was really with me. Before that, we was in my hometown. Before that, just adding up all the receipts. It was like a whole essay, because that's how much we had been communicating and how much she had not been mentioned, especially the 7 days ago. I could see stuff years prior, but 7 days ago, it's too fresh. It's too fresh for me. It was too fresh. Like, yeah. So I sent her a letter. I was like, he was with me. I don't know where he told you he was at for them 3 days last weekend, but we was celebrating my birthday and we had fun. Like, it was lit, good food, good times. I just let her know everything, every detail, to the point she couldn't deny if she tried. Like, receipts were there. Soon as I did that, World War III just, sorry if y'all hear that, but World War III just happened. Like, once I sent this Barbara, this is Shirley letter, World War III broke loose on me, as if I were the one who had been playing these mind games. His mama calls me, why would you do that to that girl? I'm like, ma'am, get your son and then get off my line. Like, I love you and you're very sweet, but get off my line right now. Everybody starts blaming me and coming at me. You shouldn't do that. You don't do that, which I get. I can admit my fault in that, but hold him accountable too. There's no way on God's green earth I thought that somebody who initiated spending a very special milestone birthday of mine, just me and him, curated a weekend, all that stuff, would be proposing to his now wife 7 days later. Like, I couldn't predict that, so I only reacted with the emotions that I had at that time. You know what I'm saying? And he blocked me. He was like, I never want to hear from you again. As if it was my fault. I'm like, dude, I literally skipped towns, skipped schools, changed my number, did everything to get away from you, and you kept pursuing me up until last week. And now you're mad because the truth came out. My baby, you're not getting away with this any longer, you know? So I exposed it all, and then I said, hey, whatever, they gonna do what they will. They got married, they had kids. You would have thought that was the end of it again, right? You would have thought that was the end of it, right? So he blocks me. He's done with me. For a little bit. He gets married. They have their first kid, maybe second kid. He starts reaching out again from anonymous phone numbers, different social media pages. So much so, I ended communication a few years ago. I ended communication. He kept reaching out from various platforms, and at first I felt flattered. I'm like, wow, I really must have been the love of his life. He maybe meant to marry me. No. Ladies, who he marries, that's who he wanted to marry. And when he turns you into a side chick, that's not a flex. He just saw you lesser than. He didn't value you enough to marry you. Though he can cheat on his wife or cheat on his spouse or cheat on his girlfriend, with you, it's not a flex. You're not the favorite ex. You're the vulnerable, accessible ex. And I had to have that conversation with myself because I'm like, okay, he keeps reaching out and I would feel good. I'm like, he married that girl and he don't even want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? Always trying to reminisce about our relationship and stuff. After he's married with kids, kept reaching out. But I got to the point where I blocked him for good and we have not talked since because I realized he was playing with me. I realized this man wanted to have his cake, which is his wife, and eat it too, which was me. And I was letting it happen just out of not being fully healed from our relationship and also allowing him to breadcrumb me the way he did over them years. So that's why it took 7 years to get over, because 5.5 to 6 of those years, he was still breadcrumbing me after we broke up, giving me false hope and stuff. So cut that off for good. He did find me on a different social media platform at the end of 2021, as in a few months ago. And he commented on one of my social medias, but I just immediately erased it. I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, you've been married over 5 years. You got like 4 or 5 kids. Just leave me alone. You should have been left me alone. You chose who you wanted to marry years ago. Initially, it was me, but then it wasn't. Like, just let me be. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like by me doing that, God was really able to come in and heal me. I feel like if I kept playing, I would have still been hurt and just digging a deeper hole. Because every time we saw each other or communicated, I would leave with like a bigger scar in my heart because I knew I was not the woman he married. As bad as I wanted it, I wasn't her. So he would keep in contact and stuff, and it gave me like a false hope, but I just had to let it go. So I hope that kind of makes sense, but that's basically the story time, or how somebody I thought I was going to marry married somebody else shortly after. I hope it made sense because it was a mess and a wreck in real life. So I hope it made sense to y'all. But I just wanted to share that because I feel like other people go through that, and we live in a society that's very like unrealistic when it comes to stuff like that. Like, if your soul is intertwined, if your heart is with somebody and you genuinely think about starting your life with them, you're going to be hurt after y'all break up. Like, I had a grieving period I had to go through. It was like a death without a death. Like, he's still alive and walking this earth, but we were no longer together. So it was like a live death. I don't know how to explain it. But I also just wanted to share this so that when we start talking about healing and moving on, y'all can see where I'm coming from. Like, yes, I physically moved locations and stuff, but it was some stuff I had to do behind the scenes, to heal. And a big part of that was just giving it to God. Like, it was just some deep pain that I couldn't get through. I tried to get through. Like, this relationship really broke me. Like, I walked away from God because, like I said, we were pursuing God together, pursuing marriage together under the guise of God. And he was a youth pastor. So I was just like, God, how can you send somebody like that to my life? Somebody in your church, somebody who's trying to be a youth pastor, somebody who's everybody thinks is just this great Christian guy, and he hurts me more than anybody in this world ever has. And I took that personally. I took that as God hurt versus church hurt, which is really people hurt. So I took the actions of one man in the church and I put it on God. But through the years, I've undone that thinking. And I'm like, okay, that was a man who may, he knows God. I ain't gonna take that from him. A man's actions hurt me. It wasn't God. I chose to do all that. You know what I'm saying? I chose to pursue that relationship and vice versa. So it wasn't God who hurt me. It wasn't the church at large who hurt me. It was that one individual. But of course, that comes with healing and time. So again, I just wanted to share this story to share like PTSD. Relationship PTSD is a real thing. And let me know if y'all have had similar experiences, because I just feel like my life is a movie. This was just like one of the first major relationship things that I feel like changed me as a person. I became emotionally unavailable for a long time, so I sought emotionally unavailable men. I did walk away from God for a very long time after this relationship. It really changed the trajectory of my life. So that's why who you choose as a life partner, or even who you choose to casually date, is so important, because you don't know the lasting effects until you in it, But that's all I have for y'all today. If y'all have a similar story or situation, let me know down below. I want to chat. Also, if y'all want access to these Coffee and Christ t-shirts, I have them in a couple colors. The link will be down below in the description box. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in today. I will be right back here fairly soon. Peace.